Hey now, how you doing? I hope your answer is awesome, Dave. Thanks for asking. Dave Allred, the Real Barman here from barpatrol.net. In this episode, I'm going to demystify that's weird. That must be missed because I'm going to demystify. Anyway, I'm going to demystify prime cost, what it is, why it's important, and how to calculate it. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. We're going to head to the computer. I'm going to shrink myself down, but I'm going to stay right here with you face to face, like you're watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, so I can look at you and provide loving yet patronizing commentary. Okay, so let's start off where we always do on our beautiful title page. What is prime cost and how to calculate it? Well, to start off, we have to define what prime cost is exactly, formula-wise. So get your paper and your pencil out. It's very complicated. Prime cost is simply your COGS plus your payroll. Oh, that's it. All right, basically what prime cost is it's the products you buy and the people that power your business and how much money you pay to them. We're going to take that number, all the costs of that, we're going to divide it by your total sales, and we're going to get this cute little prime cost percentage number. All right, so what are COGS exactly? If you're new to this, you don't know what a COG is. COG stands for cost of goods sold, and it generally includes your food and your bar costs, although it could also include anything else you like to buy and sell, like retail items. So anything that you're going to purchase and sell to your customers, that's going to be a COG. Getting back to this, COGS plus payroll, well, let's define what is payroll. What does that include? Your payroll is your labor, and it includes management salaries, employee wages, benefits, workman's comp, insurance, anything that you pay out to employees. Does that all make sense? Okay, good. Then that's going to lead us into the next question. What should my prime cost be? Now, you can't just rely on a standard prime cost percentage because some blog post said so, or even because I said so. Your job is to try to run the most efficient and well-serviced bar and restaurant on the eastern and or western seaboard, okay? Or northern or southern. I'm not location prejudiced. So what that means is we want to get our sales as high as they can go while keeping our labor relatively low. Your prime cost is going to go way down. Your profits are going to go way up. The way we do this is we systemize our business systems so we become efficient. This is why I created the Restaurant Management Master Course, so you can become efficient, sales go up, everything else remains the same. With that said, let's go into what a standard prime cost should be so you can at least have an idea if you're way off. It is 60 to 65% depending on your establishment, depending on your sales. Now, why is prime cost important? Well, prime cost involves the two areas that we can really control, which are the items that you're buying and selling for your customers and the labor that provides the service. So with prime cost reporting, just like with any other reporting, you can find the things that are out of whack and the holes, and you can recalibrate them so they're back in whack, I guess you would call it, and you can make the money that you're supposed to. Okay, so let's talk about some of the factors that are dependent when it comes to prime cost. First one would be the type of restaurant you have. Do you have a full service restaurant? Do you have a limited service, which would be like a order at the counter and then go sit down? That's a limited service as opposed to servers coming to the table. Big difference there. How laborious your systems or processes are. We just talked about this with putting business systems in place so you're as efficient as possible. And then finally, of course, are your sales. How good are your sales? How good is your marketing? What's your ROI that you're getting on your marketing? If you can get good marketing, higher sales, lower labor, we just talked about that, your prime cost is going to go way down. So now we've talked about what prime cost is, why it's important. Now let's cover figuring prime cost percentage. Let's go over the math. All right, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but the prime cost formula is pretty simple. It's your COGS plus your payroll divided by your total sales, and then you multiply it by 100 so you can move the little decimal over and get an actual percentage. So let's go over a quick example. All right, prime cost example. Let's say that we're at the month ending June 30th, and in the month of June, we look up our sales and we have $100,000. We'll make it a nice round number to make it easy. You see that your food purchases are $19,569. Your bar purchases are $15,835, and your total payroll labor is $33,847. Now, something I want to mention before I move on, this is all grouped together nice and pretty, but what we really want to do, if you're a really good owner, is we want to break down our bar into different categories, because beer, liquor, and wine all pour at different cost percentages. And if you just lump the bar all together, you get one cost percentage. You don't know where the problem areas are. So we want to break it down by liquor, wine, bottled beer, draft beer, so we can identify where the problems are and fix that certain area. So if we pull up our prime cost template example here, this is the template we use inside the Restaurant Masterclass. We show you how to use it. It's a weekly prime cost report, which we recommend doing on a weekly basis. But you can see over here on the left, we break it down by category. We even have non-alcoholic beverages, and we have retail there as well. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom here, you can again see those same net sales right here. They fill in on their own automatically. And then the cost of goods sold. Now you'll notice that with each individual one, what we're going to do is we're going to divide the cost by each individual sale. So for liquor, we have $2,588 we spent. We're going to divide that by the liquor sales, not by the total sales, to get our cost percentage number. If you divide those numbers, we're going to get 22% for our liquor cost, which is a bit high. Industry standards should be right around 17%. So there's an area that we can identify. If we did the bar all together, we wouldn't know that liquor's having a problem. So heading back to our example here, we're just going to plug in the numbers. Prime cost percentage numbers. So we're going to take our total COGS, which are $35,404. That's how much money we spent on bar and food for the month. We're going to add our total payroll for our employees, and we're going to divide it by the total sales for the month, which in this case was $100,000, and you're going to get 69.25%, and that leaves some room for improvement right here because we want to be down closer to 60%. That's a lot of percentage there. That's a lot of money left on the table. So there's an area that we can improve, and we need to identify which area that might be. Now, the last thing that people ask me is, do I use net sales, gross sales? We're going to use gross sales, and we want to include our comps and our discounts, but we do not include sales tax. Okay, so I know I went through that kind of quickly. The last thing I'm going to mention is, I mentioned it briefly with the template. We want to do prime cost on a weekly basis. You can do it on a monthly basis. It's totally up to you, but with any reporting, we want to narrow the time down where we might find the error. So if you do it right here, we can narrow down this timeline. Something happened right here. If you do it for the whole month, longer timeline, it's hard to pinpoint where the problems are. So I do recommend the shorter the time period, the better. That's going to do it for today's episode. I really appreciate you hanging out in my neighborhood. I hope you learned something, and I hope you make $1 million this week. All right, I'm going to see you next time. I'm out.